Are you constantly pouring your heart and soul into others, but feeling empty inside? Do you find yourself exhausted from trying to meet everyone else's expectations, only to feel like a shell of who you truly are? You're not alone. Many of us have been conditioned to prioritize others' needs over our own, often at the cost of our own emotional well-being. You may not realize it, but the roots of emotional labor often stem from childhood experiences. Growing up, we're constantly influenced by our caregivers, and their behavior shapes our perception of what's expected of us. Perhaps you were raised in a household where your needs were consistently put on hold for others. Your parents' own stress and anxiety became your responsibility to manage. You learned to prioritize their emotions over yours, to the point where it felt normal to sacrifice your own well-being. You may not realize it, but the weight of emotional labor can be crushing. You're constantly putting others' needs before your own, to the point where you've become a master juggler, juggling their emotions, their expectations, and your own fragile sense of self-worth. You're so focused on keeping the peace that you've lost track of your own desires, your own needs. Your mind is a constant chatterbox, replaying conversations and worrying about what others think of you. You wake up in the middle of the night, your heart racing, as you mentally rehearse a conversation from earlier that day. You're exhausted from the emotional effort of being on all the time, but you can't seem to turn it off. Your relationships may be strained because you've become a people pleaser, sacrificing your own needs and desires for the sake of others. You might feel like you're losing yourself in the process, like you're disappearing into the void of other people's expectations. But here's the thing. Emotional labor is not just a feeling. It has real-life consequences on your physical and mental health. It can lead to burnout, anxiety, depression, and even chronic pain. You may be struggling with emotional labor without realizing it, but there are signs, subtle at first, but growing louder if you pay attention. Are you exhausted from people-pleasing? Do you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, worried about what others will think or say? Do you feel like you've lost yourself in the process? As we delve deeper into the world of emotional labor, it's essential to recognize that our efforts to please others often come at a cost. One of the most insidious costs is self-sabotage, the subtle yet damaging ways in which we undermine our own well-being. You might find yourself perpetually stuck on a project, unable to meet deadlines or make decisions. Or perhaps you're a perfectionist, always pushing yourself to an unsustainable level, never satisfied with your work. You might be haunted by self-criticism, constantly second-guessing every move, as if the weight of others' expectations is crushing you. You see the signs of emotional labor in your relationships, always putting others first, shouldering their burdens, sacrificing your own needs for peace. But have you stopped to consider which types of relationships are feeding this cycle? Toxic ones often masquerade as loving or supportive, yet they're secretly draining your emotional resources. High-functioning depression is like being a master juggler. You're expertly balancing multiple tasks, relationships, and responsibilities on your mental plate. But beneath the surface, the weight of emotional labor is quietly suffocating you. You're constantly on for others, sacrificing your own needs to maintain harmony in your relationships. The irony is that this exhausting effort often leads to feelings of emptiness, disconnection, and isolation. Imagine being a coffee machine that's always brewing, but never getting refilled. That's what it feels like when you're chronically pouring energy into others without replenishing yourself. The stress and emotional neglect can mask the symptoms of depression, making it harder to recognize when you're struggling. It's like having a slow leak in your mental well-being. The damage is insidious, and by the time you notice, it may be too late. The consequences are devastating. Feelings of numbness, disconnection from activities that once brought joy, and an overwhelming sense of exhaustion. You might feel like you're just going through the motions, but deep down you're screaming for help. Breaking free, prioritizing self-care, and setting boundaries. Imagine this. You're at a friend's birthday dinner, and they ask you to help with the planning, despite knowing you have work the next day. You agree, feeling guilty for not wanting to let them down. But as the night goes on, you find yourself mentally exhausted, replaying every conversation, wondering if you've done enough. This is emotional labor, the invisible workload we take on to maintain relationships and avoid conflict. It's a burden that can lead to burnout, resentment, and even depression. But here's the thing, you don't have to carry this weight alone. The journey towards healing begins with acknowledging your worthiness of love, care, and respect from yourself and others. It means recognizing that saying no is not selfish, but necessary for preserving your energy and integrity. Start by setting small boundaries. Take a few hours off on the weekend. Practice self-care rituals like meditation or journaling, and prioritize activities that nourish your mind, body, and soul. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. By prioritizing your own needs, you're not letting others down. You're becoming more present, compassionate, and whole. As we come to the end of this journey, remember that emotional labor doesn't define your worth. You are not a burden to others or a martyr for their happiness. By recognizing the signs and taking small steps towards self-care, you're already on the path to reclaiming your life and prioritizing your own needs. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is a process, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. You are not alone in this struggle, and there is support available when you need it most. Before we part ways for now, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel for more resources, guidance, and community on your journey towards emotional healing and self-awareness.